Just wanted to do a quick video today and talk about what's coming for Panama. I have tried to warn people about the dangers that are going to become evident in the next 6 months to a year in that region. This particular article from Bloomberg talks about how the people of Panama are pushing back and resisting this migration of Venezuelans to their country, and doing so in a very vicious way. They've even released a song down there where they basically, I guess for lack of a better term, slut shame an immigrant because she can't do anything other than be a prostitute in Panama. Because at one time, the Venezuelans were one of the wealthiest countries in South America. And you can talk about, the ethereal kind of philosophical issues of, well, socialism caused this or communism caused that. If someone stopped the U.S. from refinancing its debt, we'd be in the same boat as they are. We just print more money all the time. And since everybody is slave to the petrodollar, we get bailed out every time. We bailed ourselves out in 2008. So the issue is this. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of angst and worry. And the arguments you see coming out of Panama sound much like this country did in 2015, where they're talking about these undesirables coming across their border and taking their jobs, and that they're all criminals. And they're trying to push the government to be more anti-immigrant. Eventually, they're going to get tired of beating up themselves, and someone is going to stand up and say, we need to unite as Latinos against the real threat, which is the big bad USA. That's always the way they do it down there, and it works. And it's worked time and time and time again. Except this time, it'll work in Panama. And the reason that's important to us, as opposed to any other country, is this. Now, I know this doesn't seem related, but this is from 2015, right when the Republican primary was going on. And you would have to ask yourself a question. Why would a man at that time who was denigrating all of Latin America, on one hand, be then putting $90 million into Cocaine Central? It just seemed very odd. And I think I know what his game was. It's just an assumption, but I'm sure he thought, when, just like Admiral Tidd said, it's like squeezing one end of a balloon. That if he made life hard for people on the southern border, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, by building or threatening to build that wall, that more of the drug money would funnel through South America and up through the Caribbean. And this was 2015. Now, I would like to think, and, well, real quick, this isn't anything specifically that is a big deal, but it's just more evidence of the anti-American sentiment that is building in that region, in Costa Rica, in Panama. That's going to eventually come to a head, but the reason Panama is important is because we need that canal. We absolutely need that canal to be running in tip-top shape as best as it can all the time. Any little hiccup down there can cause major problems in the United States. And the Admiral, and this is Golden State Times, and you can find this, when you put links in videos, for some reason it demonetizes them, at least on my channel, I'm not sure why. But this is Admiral Tidd, we've covered him before, And he talks very, very specifically at length about the threats from the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians in Central America, and how they're buying up big swaths of property in Panama that are supposedly just for a new port and terminal, but could also be used for a military base. The Panamanians turned away from Taiwan, a classic ally of the United States against China, and they have decided to deal exclusively with Beijing. We've covered that. And this is a 30-minute video. I'm not going to play it for you the whole way, but you can search there and that should get you there. And it's all building to a crescendo down there. These problems. In the Admiral's video, he talks about they found over 100 ISIS fighters, ISIS-supporting fighters in Trinidad and Tobago. People getting radicalized and returning from the Middle East who are going to foment and foster this problem. And like I said, so far it's just been Venezuela and Colombia and Bolivia, which is a big enough pain in the butt, but when it works its way into Panama and the Canal Zone, where there are tens of thousands of Americans that live and operate, retirees, former military, they're going to eventually become the targets. They're going to stop. The Venezuelan migrants are going to stop turning on the Panamanians, and the Panamanians are going to stop turning on the Venezuelan migrants. And they're going to, somebody's going to jump out in front of them and say, no, you really just need to join together and hate America. And that's going to be the thing they unite around. That's what Maduro has been trying to do for this whole time. He's trying to get the entire region, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago, all the ABC islands. He's been trying to reunite them under one flag. It used to be called Grand Colombia not very long ago. And this is what he's been trying to do. And he's going to have history on his side. Because this is what happens when people get desperate. They look for a common enemy. And the biggest common enemy that's worked time and time and time again is the big, evil United States. And that's what's coming for Panama if we don't get our head on straight. Stop worrying about the Middle East and stop worrying about Syria and Korea and all this kind of stuff and start really focusing on what's going on back home. And Admiral Tidd from the Navy has been sounding this bell every year, a couple of times a year, about how important this region's going to be. And if we don't focus not just on the southern border, giant quotes, Texas to California, but Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, the Gulf Coast, the Caribbean, and what's coming through there, and securing that canal, we're going to be in trouble, folks. Financial trouble if we let the Chinese or the Russians or the Iranians get a foothold down there. It's going to cause a much greater problem. Everything so far as the migrant issue and the issue in Syria has all been a world away. Now it's coming home. And now it's coming to a point when it's going to be just one little boat ride away. And I know a lot of people think it's a reach, this issue with this kid in Parkland. But, and I'm not saying he was a full-fledged gang member of ELN. All I'm saying is that he might have been emulating. And there might have been people down there kind of pushing him online, one way or the other, to do these types of things. And to see the way he dressed and the way he marketed himself in his Instagram account, I think is really telling. I don't think it's any coincidence. You know, Antifa, the ELN, they're all the same idea. So this is what I wanted the video to be about today. So anyway, thank you everyone. I very much appreciate it. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Peter Ross MD. for giving me the link to the press briefing. So like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.